It's also my pleasure to introduce to you. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the HHL Leipzig Graduate School of Management session at the MBA Spotlight. My name is JJ, and I am your host. It's also my pleasure to introduce to you Ellen and Anne, representatives from HHL Leipzig Graduate School of Management. So we'll begin with a quick overview of the full-time MBA program, as well as other critical information which you would like to have to be successful in your applications. Then after the brief presentation, we'll open it up for Q&A and try as much as possible to take many questions. So to the right of your screen, you would see a couple of icons. There's the chat icon, there's the Q&A icon. Please use the Q&A icon alone to drop your questions. So in the chat, you can drop your location, let us know where you're dialing in from. It'll be nice to know where people are calling from. And then again, in the Q&A, drop your questions there. And the reason is because we know that a lot of persons will be asking questions, and in order to prioritize, you can easily upvote a question that you feel you would like to have an answer to. So the more upvote a question gets, the higher the chances that we're going to read it out. Again, it's just in the interest of time. So I'll hand it over to Ellen now.
Thanks very much for the quick introduction and the housekeeping for today, JJ. So my name is Ellen. I'm the program consultant for the full-time MBA programs that we run at HHL. And what do you need to know about me? I've been with HHL for 3 years now. And before that, I lived abroad. I am German, born and bred, I always say, but I lived abroad. I lived in Ireland for many, many years, where I was also working with international students. So I have a long background, long history of working with internationals, and I do it with a passion. Someone who's equally as passionate about working with internationals is my colleague Anna, who's here with me today. Anna, please introduce yourself as well before we start the presentation.
Yeah, thank you, Ellen. So my name is Anne, and I'm the admissions officer for the full-time MBA at HHL. I'm with HHL for a little more over 6 years now, and I've been accompanying many international students since the beginning, and very much looking forward to the session today.
Brilliant. So what we have thought, what we're going to do is, and you can see it already, we thought we have about 10 minutes to introduce the full-time MBA program at our business school in Leipzig. So what we're going to do is we're taking about 10 minutes of your time. We have 10 slides prepared, and we're going to throw 10 facts at you, basically. So hopefully that will cover most of what you need to know. But then obviously we have plenty of time for Q&As afterwards, to cover anything that we didn't touch on in the questions here or in the slides of the presentation. So let's get going. 10 minutes. Okay, or the first fact that we have. The first number I want to present is 1898. That is actually the year that HHL was founded. So we're not just a business school in Germany, we're actually the oldest business school in Germany. So we have more than 125 years of educating entrepreneurial, responsive, and effective business leaders. So yes, we have a long tradition here in Germany. The second slide, or the second fact I want to prepare or want to present you with, is number one. Of course, every business school you're speaking to will claim they're number one in something, one or the other, but we're really and truly proud to say that we are the number one entrepreneurial university in Germany, at least for the small size universities. We have been voted 6 times number one in the last couple of years, and this is all down to our amazing entrepreneurial ecosystem that we have. We're also the first business school that has an incubator and an accelerator in-house. So candidates who are looking to found a company, for example, in the future, are find a very good home within HHL, and then you can even take that business idea that you form in our incubator to the next step with our accelerator. And a lot of startups come out of HHL HHL, there's 4 unicorns that come out of our little business school, and you might know some of them. A Delivery Hero, for example, or Trivago is one, just a couple of examples of our startups. And one thing where we don't just want to don't just want our students to found companies. So what we're trying to do is also teach the entrepreneurial mindset. So that is seeing opportunities, taking risks, learning from your mistakes, and so on. So it doesn't really matter which program you take. Even the MBA will have some parts of entrepreneurship in it. Okay. Number 3. So a number I want to share with you is €275. That is the average cost of a student dorm room in Leipzig. So we have the big advantage that we're actually based in the east of Germany. So about 1 hour and 15 minutes on the train from Berlin. So that's the east of Germany. And that means we're very fortunate to still have very affordable cost of living here in the city, but still at a high quality of life. So it's a good place to live. That means you won't have to live on beans on toast for the time that you're a student here, because you'll still have plenty of money left in your pocket after you've paid rent for the month. Leipzig was also recently voted top 5 for quality of life. So even though you don't pay very much for your accommodation, you still get a good place to live for that. Okay. The next number, or the next fact I want to show you, is there's 4 different financing options that you have to help with financing of the fees. So the full tuition fees of the MBA program are €41,600. That's for the full duration of the program. And there are 4 different ways that we can help you to shoulder those costs. So of course we have our early bird deadlines. It's actually quite good that this session is running in November, because at the end of this month we have our first early bird deadline coming up, and you can save up to €6,000 on tuition fees. We have the next round. If you're not ready to put in an application by November, we have the next application round that ends in January, and then another one in March. And for these 2, you can still get a reduction, either €4,500 or €1,500. There's obviously an opportunity to combine these early bird fees with a scholarship that we can offer. Scholarships range between 10 to 50%, depend on your overall application, your GMAT score, your performance during the interview, your scholarship application, and so on. So there's different factors that play into it. Besides scholarships that we can give, there's obviously also external opportunities with the German Academic Exchange Service, that's the DAAD. The German federal government also supports national scholarships. So you can get support for your cost of living, for example. And then we also work with partners like Prodigy. I think there's a session running with Prodigy as well, how to help with financing your studies. So that's obviously something you can take into consideration as well. So that's 4 different financing options that you have for your to help with the tuition fees. And I think, Anne, that's over to you. That's your topic.
Yes, another 4. So, and we are talking about admission criteria. So in order to make your application be successful and to be considered for the full-time MBA program, you need to have a completed bachelor's degree in any field. So it does not have to be business related. You need a minimum of 3 years of work experience, and you need to complete one of the business admission tests, which can be our very own HHL entry test, the GRE or the GMAT. You don't have to submit that right away with your application, but the earlier you have it, the better. And English skills. So you need to have proof of your professional English proficiency. So it can be either a standardized test or a media instruction during your undergraduate degree, or in case you're working in an English-speaking environment, that also works. During the program, so you have a duration of 15 to 21 months. This is what the numbers here stand for. And the really nice thing is that you can tailor the program in a way that fits best for you. So you can either choose between the 15-month fast track or the up to 21-month advanced track option, which we offer in general management or finance. You have mixed and math modules so that you can very much customize the program towards your needs. And our highlights of the program are a social impact expedition, which is focused on social entrepreneurship, German courses, which are part of the curriculum so that you can start learning and also like strengthen your skills in German during the entire study period. We offer practical experience in a sense of internship, term abroad, or double degree options. Fact number 7. So we're talking about 16. What does 16 mean? We are talking about the current nationalities we have and then our 2 latest MBA cohorts. Our student body is 90%, 97% international, and currently we also have 46% female students. What does the class profile look in general? So our students, or we have students aged between the age 25 to 40. The class size is between 35 to 45 students, and our average work experience is about 8 years. That's over to you, Ellen, again.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, exactly. So the next number, so number 8, we're coming towards the end here. Number 8, I want to present to you is 92. So that is the percentage of students who found a job within 3 months of graduation. And then I thought it might be interesting for you to see where are those students going. So close to 20% go into consulting and IT and services. 11% of the last 2 graduating classes have gone into e-commerce and internet and consumer products. And then the next tier below that would be financial services, marketing and market research. And then the rest is kind of made up of healthcare, pharma, automotive, manufacturing, a lot of startups, of course. Like I said, entrepreneurship will play a big role at HHL. Doesn't matter which program you do or where you go. And because we have a very international cohort, like Anna mentioned on the previous slide, a lot of candidates use our MBA program as a stepping stone into the German job market, also because of the practical experience that we offer. So it's actually no wonder that close to 100% of the guys in the class actually stay in Germany and start their post-MBA career in Germany. We also have a very highly ranked career development team that help with entering the German job market, and they're placed at number 4 in the world this year's Financial Times ranking. So it's actually the Masters in Management ranking, but it's the same career team you're dipping into. Right. Since we are talking about rankings, we'll stay with the Master Management ranking of Financial Times of this year. Number 3, that's the ranking position that our alumni network took. So even though we're a small business school, we have the 3rd strongest alumni network in the world. So you'll see it's just under 4,000 alumni that we have, which might not seem like a massive network compared to some other business schools that you'll be speaking to. But it's a very strong one. It's a very tight-knit and very effective network. So this is why the outcome is so good. Obviously, the MBA students, most of them stay in Germany, but with the network, you don't just tap into the MBA network, but the HHL network in general. So you'll find an active network around the world in 70 countries, actually. And what is good is that you can already tap into this network not only when you graduate, but as soon as you're a student. Yes. And then the last slide, Anne, is one for you again.
Yes. So talking about 18, and when we talk about 18, we talk about 18 months, which is the duration of the job seeker visa that you can apply for after graduation, in case you haven't been able to secure a job after graduation, which is a very nice thing because you then can work in any job while searching for a real job that matches your qualifications after you've graduated. You can ease into the German job market and can also start on working on your permanent residency. In case you already have a job, then there are other residence permit options available, which is the work permit and the EU Blue Card, where you can already see there are quite some options, so that makes it easy for students to stay in Germany after their graduation. Okay, and that's about it. Our 10 facts about HHL.
Very good. I'll stop sharing the presentation now, and maybe we can turn to the questions that you have put into the Q&A section there, and we're ready to take them.
Sure. Sure. Thanks a lot, Anne and Helen. Great presentation. So we'll kick it off with the questions here. The first is from Anshit. He's asking, is there an official WhatsApp group for HHL applicants?
Anna, do you want to take it?
Yes. So we do not work with WhatsApp during like application period, so to say, but we do have a platform that's called Unibuddy and a Unibuddy community where we have like several chats available, and it's basically a connecting point for current students, for new students, where you can interact and also like chat on a private basis and also like in a group chat. So WhatsApp is unfortunately not available in every part of this world. So this is why we have opted for a platform that is available to everyone.
Can I
Great.
just add something to this? So the platform really gives also more options than WhatsApp, so it has different groups, like interest groups, where you can also not just connect to your actual cohort, but also to senior students and also candidates from other programs. So, we also felt that this platform gives you a much wider range of options and outreach, that you have, as opposed to limiting it to one WhatsApp group.
All right, great. So Chahari is asking if I've already submitted my application with my current GRE score, but end up retaking the GRE, can I submit the new score? And if it's higher, will it be considered in my application review?
So I think I'm going to take this one, if that's all right. So of course you can resubmit the score if it is a higher one, definitely. So you just then send the score over to us, and we will just update your information and application, and it will then be reviewed with the higher score.
All right, great. So there is another question from Gautam. It says, what kind of diversity does HHL possess based on the idea that I have an architecture background, trying to figure out getting an MBA to boost business?
And I'll take that question. So obviously, I'm assuming you're talking about the MBA class here, obviously. So we have a small MBA class, like you've seen. We have between 35 to 45 people in the class, and every class is really different. So we get a different set of people each time with different backgrounds. But being an architect is is a very common, I'd say, background for a candidate going into an MBA program to pivot into a different career. That's usually what you're taking an MBA for, to change a location or to get into a different industry, or get a different function. So whilst our class is not full of architects, every now and then there is an architect in the class, or people from other backgrounds as well. So if I think of who we've had in classes previously, so yes, obviously there will be people who have a background in business already. Marketing, we've had musicians, we had lawyers, we have engineers, of course, we've people who've studied literature, who've studied languages. So it's a little bit of everything. So in that term, the class is really very diverse, with different backgrounds. Yeah, I hope that answers your question, Gautam.
Great. So Srinivasan is asking, are there any language requirements?
I'll quickly take that. So, we have one language requirement, and then that is you need to speak really good English, because we teach all our programs in English. So like Anna has mentioned during, the presentation earlier, proof of very good English skills have to be provided. You can either share an IELTS score with us, a TOEFL score, or maybe your undergraduate degree was delivered in English. We can accept that, or if your current working language is English. Other than that, I mean, we are obviously based in Germany. We're not asking for German language skills. So you don't need to speak any German to be admitted to the program, to get through the program. Having said that, it is, of course, beneficial if you speak a little bit of German, just, to help you settling into life and culture here will make it that little bit easier if you have a few German words, of course, but they're not required for the program. And Anna again has mentioned it during the presentation. One of the strengths of our program, I think, is also that you have two opportunities to learn German. One is that we offer an intensive German course before the program starts, so for 1 month. All of August, before the program starts in September, we offer an intensive German course for candidates who speak no German or just very little German. And then throughout the MBA program, you can take German lessons at different levels as well. And if you opt for the longer version of the program, the advanced track, you can even get credits for those language classes. So you can, they work towards your final degree. But yes, that's something optional. You don't have to do this. You don't need to speak any German, but you need to have good English skills.
Great.
That was a very long answer for the question.
All right. So Polumi is asking, what are the top industries that HHL Leipzig MBA graduates work in?
Well, I've presented it in one of the slides here. I mean, there's candidates go into different what was say industries. What I recommend, Polomi, is that you can email me and I can share our full employment report with you, so you can see all the different industries where our students have gone into. I mean, off the top of my head, what I know, the last class that just finished, they're actually, funnily enough, gone into a lot of automotive industries. So one has gone to Kia, one's gone to Ford, another one moved to Stuttgart to work with Porsche. So automotive, I'd say, well, what is it, IT, so what my recommendation would be, email me and I'll send you the employment reports. You can have a look at it in your own time.
Great. I think before you even answered the question, off the top of my head, I was going to say that definitely if it's Germany, then there has to be automotive there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Germany's like the cathedral of automotive. So yeah.
Yes. And
so
of course, we have Porsche in Leipzig, and BMW have a really big plant here as well. And Porsche are one of our avid supporters here, so they're sponsoring one, if not two, of our academic chairs. They contact us for student consulting projects. So last year we had a student consulting project for 6 months with Porsche. So yes, the automotive industry is definitely very, very involved with us too.
I mean, by the way, do MBA students get free cars or something?
No, I wish. Well, we'd start with employees first, right? And then
All right. So Rudra is asking, what majority of students get scholarships?
Well, the majority that applies for a scholarship, basically, right? So no, we don't assess candidates automatically for a scholarship. So only candidates who apply for a scholarship will be considered for a scholarship. So first of all, that, right? Like we're not as such putting a cap on scholarships to say, well, we've given out 10 scholarships now for regional diversity, so we'll stop with that. If we see a good candidate in front of us, who explains to us really well why they would require a scholarship, and we can see the potential in that candidate, we're happy to support him, because we don't want to stand in the way of a good education for a person. So, but you need to apply for a scholarship. You need to let us know that you need help financially, and why and how you're going to make use of that, obviously. So yeah. Anna, do you have anything to add to this?
No, it was perfectly answered.
Okay, good.
All right, great. So Vikash is asking, with the increase in the number of applications that's over the years, what are the three key aspects to focus on to get an admit, especially for overrepresented international students?
So I can, sorry, I had problems with the mic. So, well, we always say that basically we have like three major points. So there's like, you have the academic achievements, that's the outer shell, so to say. Then we have personal experience, and that we're not talking about only of work experience, but it can also be like something special that you have achieved in your life, which could be like volunteer work or something that you have supported, or yeah, you have supported your local community with. So like something that stands out. So those are the two outer shells, so to say. And the other main factor is the personal fit, so to say. You know, each person brings individual aspects and individuality and to the table, so to say, so that we can look at the candidates as a whole. And since our full-time MBA program has 97% international students, our program is very international. So that's why we look into all the candidates as a whole.
All right, great. So next question here is, what percentage of HHL Leipzig students graduates, what percentage of students graduates achieve a triple jump career change involving a switch in industry, function, and location?
I'm happy to take that. That is something that is like I don't have the number in my mind. As we're speaking and as I'm waffling on, I'm opening up our employment report because that is mentioned there, and I'm gonna cheat and look at the employment report. Give me a second. If whoever was asking wants more detailed information about the graduate outcomes of our MBA students, please email me. I'll put my email into the chat, and then I'm happy to share the full employment report with you. So I can tell you now, I have the number here. So candidates who do a proper full-on triple switch for the last two graduating classes were 34%. There you go.
Great. So next question here is from Shobit. He's asking, is 35 years of age with 10 years of experience, is it negative for an applicant? I guess this also applies to applicants on the lower end of the spectrum, maybe those younger applicants. So what's the impact of age, or how is age perceived by admissions officers?
Yeah.
So
So oh, will I answer? Yeah. Oh, sorry. So I mean, we presented what our average MBA class looks like, and it's between 25 to 40 years of age with an average of 10 years of work experience. So at the age of 35 with 10 years of work experience, you're bang on in the middle. Like you fit in perfectly. So there's nothing negative about this at all. But you're like a candidate that fits in very well, so to say. It's actually, funnily enough, a little story. I was recently talking to someone, and he asked me, how we deal with his profile, because it's a very unusual profile. And then I looked at him and was like, well, your profile is not very unusual, actually. So it's sometimes candidates have a perception of what is good or bad, or unusual or common or not so common, but that's not obviously what schools are seeing necessarily. So with the age of 35 and 10 years of work experience, theoretically you'd fit into the class very well. Obviously, I need to see your full profile, to give you a better evaluation of that. But with these two numbers, looks good to me for the moment. We're not as such looking at the age of a candidate. What we're doing is, and obviously that is tied to the age of the candidate, is the number of years he has in work experience. So if you are a candidate who has a lot of work experience already, then we ask ourselves, and you would have to ask that yourself as well, is our program, where we introduce you to leadership and management and business education, it's an introduction to the program. It's also suitable for people with only 3 years of age. But if you have 20 years, with 3 years of work experience, if you have 20 years of work experience already, ask yourself, is our program really the program for you? Like, can you actually get out of the program what you want? So we're not necessarily tying it to the age of a candidate, but we're looking at the number of years of work experience, and that again tied to your motivation and your desired outcome. What do you want after the MBA program? Is what are you looking for, and is that something that we can give you? So that's what we're looking at. So with your age and your years of work experience, can't really decide on that, but for the moment, looks like a good suitable candidate.
All right. All right. So Tirayot is asking, are there any key differences between the MBA focused on entrepreneurship and the Master of Science in Entrepreneurship?
Yes, exactly. So there are differences in the program in that way that an MBA is aimed at candidates who have some work experience already, whereas our master in I can obviously only speak for our master in entrepreneurship and not for other programs and other business schools and their master in entrepreneurship. So our master in entrepreneurship is aimed at candidates who have basically just completed their bachelor program and are looking for a master program. So the difference is that candidates on the MBA program are again much more mature with work experience, whereas the master in entrepreneurship, you're basically straight out of undergrad school.
Okay, so Babita is asking, what career services are provided for students who are planning to switch from tech to consulting?
And I'll take that as well. So career services are provided for everyone, doesn't matter what switch you're planning, right? So like I said, we have a highly ranked career team, and the way the career development is set up at HHL is that there's one career advisor for each program. So there's one person who's responsible only for our MBA candidates, and that career support starts after you've been admitted, basically. So this is where you can already upload your CV, and our career advisor for the MBA program will already have a look at your CV and give you some tips and tricks how you can improve on that. And then we have our welcome weeks where the career team introduces themselves to you, what kind of services they offer, and then from the get-go, from the beginning up until however long you want to use the service, it's a lifelong career service. They're there for you. They do personality test. They sit down with you to find out what is your desired career outcome, what do you feel is a purposeful career for you, and then together, based on the personality test and your desired outcome, they map out a career strategy. They offer workshops, they offer individual consultations. Obviously, they arrange recruiting events, company visits. So there's about 1 or 2 career events each week that you can go to as a candidate. You have all the services available to you, but you need to make use of them, right? So it's also up to you, obviously, to put work into your career switch. Where we're not offering a job placement service, as in you go to our career advisor and say, hey, I want a job with Porsche, can you do that for me, please? They can introduce you to someone at Porsche, can arrange company visits, for example, but you have to put in the application, you have to sit through the interview, all of that. So, but yes, the career team is there for everyone for as long as you need them. Like I said, it's a lifelong career service. So for your next step when you're changing your careers, and obviously we're doing something right. Do want to mention again, they were highly ranked recently at number 4 in the world. So yeah, even though it's a small team, again, they're strong and mighty.
Great, thanks a lot for the elaborate answer. So Catherine is asking, what more would strengthen an international applicant with 2 years of experience in volunteer work in terms of scholarships and employment strength? I think this is from the perspective that the average age seems to be on the low side. I'm sorry, on the high side. And Catherine is concerned about the fact that she has 2 years of experience. So how is the application going to be considered?
Well, it's again, it's difficult to say it without seeing the full profile in front of us. So, I mean, Catherine, feel free to email your profile to me. I'm happy to look at it. So the volunteer work is the only kind of work that you have at the moment, if I understand that correctly. But I mean, when we're evaluating applications, we're also not looking at the salary that you're getting, right? So we're looking at the quality of the work that you're doing. So to us, it doesn't matter whether you've been paid on a constant basis for your job or you haven't been paid for a constant, on a constant basis for a job. So it's the amount of work that you've done and what kind of work it was, right? So if seeing your profile in front of us with more detailed information would vastly help, and seeing more of you exactly. But yeah, that's what I would say. Anna, do you have anything to add?
No, that was brilliant.
All right. So there's a question from Manda. He has two questions actually, but I think you've covered the first one already. So the second is, given the current economy, what are the results of the post MBA job market of the current class?
Okay, two questions. The first one, I don't know the exact percentage, but like I said, we're not candidates are not assessed automatically, so whoever applies for a scholarship will be considered. And and maybe you can give more insights into this. I'd say we're trying to help candidates who can show to us that they will be struggling financially, with some way or the other. Could be a smaller scholarship. I can't say it's, I don't know, 50% of people who apply for a scholarship who get one. I think people who really require a scholarship and who can prove to us that they require it will get a scholarship, right? Anna, are you?
Well, it also depends on mainly on the achievements or the overall profile. So your profile, like all the documentation that we have, because that's the basis that we can do an evaluation, then the test scores that you have, and the performance in the interview. So we just put everything in it together, so to say, for the scholarships. But of course, I can't give like a whole number of
Yeah. Sorry, there was a second part to the question in terms of the jobs outcome of the current class. If I could look into the future, I could give that information. I can obviously only present the information or the data we have at hand for previous classes. So the class that finished in September, I mean not finished, but who finished their lectures in September and who've gone off, now looking for jobs, they've been able to find something. Like I said, in the pharma industry, some have gone to Siemens as well, to Nintendo, so there's also these big names out there, and it might take that one or two application extra, but with determination and the help of our career team, there are possibilities out there for you as an MBA graduate. What also depends, of course, if you're looking for a job in Germany, is how good your German level is as well. So it's like you can't. I find it difficult to give a straight answer to say, well, 83% or whatever, of the next class graduating will get a job, within 2, 3, 4 months. We'll see how, which way the situation goes, and also how much effort you put into an application, and yeah, so there's different factors that determine that, but it's still looking good.
Okay, great. So Cora Celine is asking, what are the chances to start a global career after graduation? So she aspires to drive change and innovation globally.
Hmm. Well, just because most of our candidates stay in Germany doesn't mean that it doesn't work the other way around. Our career team doesn't only work, in a German environment. Like we've, mentioned beforehand, we have a global network and, chapters around the world. And so of course with an MBA, an English-speaking MBA from Germany, of course you have all the chances internationally as well.
Okay, so there's an interesting question from Nirja. She asks, I've heard of cases where MBA graduates from the EU return to their home countries due to lack of job placements. Could you shed light on the possible reasons? And could this be due to language restriction only, or are there other reasons?
Jesus, that could be down to very many reasons. Could be the profile of the person, the number of applications they're putting in, the supports they're using, the network they're trying to reach out to. I mean, I don't know. It could be a lot. Like I said, I can only speak for us. I can speak for our candidates. I know they're in very good hands with our career advisor who's been with HHL for more than 15 years. So of course she has super strong contacts into the HHL network, and I mean, alumni who've graduated from HHL, not just from the MBA program, from all our other programs, on a regular basis come back to recruit from campus because they know there's a great skilled pool of people and well-educated people here. But yes, I mean, some candidates, obviously we see that some candidates have found a placement very quickly, others have had to write that extra 2, 3, 4 applications, or go through more interviews. I think it's depends how wide you open yourself up to opportunities and maybe exploring something that you wouldn't consider at the beginning. But that's what the career team is there as well, to help you and maybe point you into different directions. Language is definitely a big point. We've mentioned that before, I've said it before. Knowing some German will definitely beneficial, not just in finding your feet in Germany and in the cultural circle, but also in a work environment. So if you're only looking for English speaking jobs, of course you're looking at a much smaller pool. However, if you're looking at jobs English and with the German included, you open yourself up to so much more opportunities. So I can't speak to about why these candidates weren't finding any placements, but yes, I do think that a bit of determination you know it takes a little bit of determination, and also venturing into options you might not have considered first. But that's what the career advisors are for as well, to point you into new directions.
Okay, so I think we can take one or two more questions
Hmm.
because we have about 3 minutes left. But
Yeah, of
before
course.
that, someone is asking, how can we reach out to Ellen and if we have other questions? So
Should we
kindly
just
drop your.
put our emails, yeah, in the chat? I would
Yes,
say, right?
absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. That would be great. That would be great. So the next question is regarding application fee waivers, which is probably like a very big deal. So are there application fee waivers?
Well, the easy question, or the quick question, is no, because we don't charge any application fees. So it's for free to apply. Basically, what you have to do is, that's actually something we didn't speak about. The application process as such. So we have an online application system where you put in your information, and then once you've filled out the online application form, you upload your supporting documentation. I'll look at it. If I think you're a good candidate, I'll hand you over to Anna, and she will arrange an interview with one of our professors, and then the admissions committee will look at your application, and with the recommendation from the professor who interviewed you, will take a decision whether you've been admitted or not. So that will take about 2 to 3 weeks, depending on how quick we find an interview slot, right? And that's it. So the first thing we ask you to pay is basically, once we've given you an offer, and then you're sure you want to take up that seat at HHL, you want to confirm your place, then you pay your commitment fee, basically, to hold the spot for you. That's the first thing we ask you to pay.
Great. So I think there's a very important
Mhm.
question from Mashud. Says, what inclusion package do you have for students with disabilities?
I would recommend, Moshud, that maybe you email us and let us know, or give us some more information, where your disability lies, and then maybe we'll see how we can help you. I find it difficult to answer that question as a package. Yeah, and so if you email Anna or myself, we'll look after you.
Great. So I guess that brings us to the end of our session. Thanks a lot, Elaine and Anne. Again, the contacts information of both Elaine and Anne has been dropped in the box. So please feel free to reach out to them. And for the application fee waiver, which we know is like the biggest deal right now, it's free as you've mentioned, as has been mentioned. So please go ahead and apply prior to the next deadline, I guess. So again, feel free to navigate to other sessions which you'd like to join. And I mean, we're looking forward to seeing you around. So thanks a lot, Anne and Ellen.
Thank you, JJ.
You've been a wonderful host.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you. Have a great day.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Yeah,
Bye.
bye.